Today we're embarking on an epic journey that might feel familiar to some, but we promise you'll walk away seeing it with fresh eyes. We've got a stack of material focusing on the very beginning of a classic tale, specifically Book 1 of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Our mission today is to unpack the initial steps of this monumental story. We'll be focusing not just on what happens, but on the subtle introductions of characters and themes and the surprisingly intense challenges faced right from the start.
Yeah, how the world just starts changing for Frodo.
Exactly. How the world begins to change and how seemingly small events set in motion something truly enormous. You'll find that even if you think you know this story, the details from these original sources highlight connections you might never have noticed.
So let's unpack this, our big question for this deep dive. How does Tolkien establish the epic scope and hidden dangers right from the Shire, despite its apparent safety, setting the stage for one of fantasy's greatest adventures? Let's dive into the opening chapters of The Fellowship of the Ring. We begin, of course, in the Shire. The big party, right? Bilbo Baggins' 11th birthday.
That's the one. He's described as very rich and very peculiar, the wonder of Hobbiton.
And all the families are the Bagginses, Brandybucks, Proudfoots.
Proud feet, yes, that memorable shout out. It paints this picture of a very cozy, almost comically cheerful place.
But it doesn't stay cheerful for long.
No, what's fascinating is how fast that festive mood shifts. Bilbo's departure, his vanishing act, that's the catalyst.
And Gandalf is right there, making him leave the ring behind.
He insists on it, and the sources really highlight that moment. Bilbo shows this spasm of anger when Gandalf pushes him.
Oh, yeah.
Then, suddenly, relief. He laughs, and he's gone, like a rustle of wind in the grass.
That anger, though, from Bilbo, it's unsettling, isn't it? It hints at something darker.
Definitely. A shadow over this beloved character.
So how quickly do we find out what's really going on with the ring?
Well, Gandalf pieces it together. He later gets the true story from Bilbo about finding it.
After some pestering, I imagine.
Apparently so. The sources say Gandalf pestered him. Bilbo finally admits he felt real danger from Gollum, and it was just luck. The ring slipped on his finger, making him invisible.
So the invisibility wasn't the first thought?
No, it was escape. And that let him guess the truth about Gollum's precious. Gandalf suspected right away the ring had this unwholesome power that set to work on its keeper at once.
And he noticed Bilbo's lies.
Yeah, he notes they were too much alike, Gollum's. That's a chilling comparison right there. You start seeing the ring as this active, corrupting force.
And poor Frodo inherits this burden. But wait, he's not totally alone in the secret, is he? There's Sam.
Yes. Sam Gamgee, the gardener. He overhears Gandalf talking to Frodo. Accidentally, of course.
What happens then? Does Gandalf get angry?
Well, the sources describe it as Sam's punishment. Gandalf declares, "You shall go away with Mr. Frodo."
Some punishment.
Exactly. Sam's reaction is amazing. He springs up like a dog invited for a walk, shouting, "Me go and see elves and all, hooray!"
Ah, that's brilliant.
It really is. It shows his loyalty instantly, his simple curiosity, It seems small, but the sources make clear it's going to be absolute pivotal. Great strength from humble beginnings.
Okay, so the journey officially begins, but it's not exactly a relaxing walk in the park.
Far from it. Gandalf tells Frodo to leave quietly and soon, but he specifically warns him not to vanish like Bilbo.
Why not?
Because, Gandalf says, that wouldn't do at all. It would draw the wrong kind of attention, you see.
Right. So they need secrecy, but not that kind of secrecy.
Precisely. And this whole period is about building that sense of urgency, of hidden danger. Frodo plans to walk to Bucklebury Ferry, partly to get himself a bit into training. Yeah, he even notes he looked rather flabby in the mirror. It's a relatable little detail.
And while all this world-changing stuff is happening, Lobelia Sackville Baggins is still trying to steal spoons.
Pretty much. The sources mention her being relieved of several small but rather valuable articles from her umbrella as Frodo's finally leaving Bag End. It's almost absurd, isn't it?
It really grounds it, though, that contrast.
Yeah.
But the real threat appears quickly. The Black Rider.
Yes. Frodo encounters one on the road, feels this sudden, unreasoning fear of discovery.
And he wants to use the ring right then.
Immediately. He thinks Gandalf's advice not to use it is absurd in that moment of terror. The writer just sniffs the air, turning its head from side to side. It's creepy stuff.
Very creepy. And we know they're looking for him.
Oh, yes. The sources confirm they're asking for Mr. Baggins of Bag End. Sam's dad, the gaffer, talks about a strange customer, tall and black-like, who hissed at him.
Hissed. Ugh.
So the threat is real, it's close, it's palpable, even inside the Shire's borders. And that temptation for Frodo to use the ring?
Yeah.
It's immediate.
But here's a twist. I always loved Frodo's friends. Merry and Pippin. They knew.
They did. It was a whole conspiracy, as the books call it.
How much did they know?
Quite a bit, actually. The sources say they knew most of what Gandalf has told you, meaning Frodo, and a good deal about the ring.
Wow. So they weren't just along for the ride.
Not at all. They were horribly afraid, the text says, but their loyalty is absolute. You can trust us to stick to you through thick and thin to the bitter end, but you cannot trust us to let you face trouble alone.
That's powerful.
It really is. It shows this unexpected courage. These aren't warriors, they're hobbits. And don't forget Fatty Bolger.
Right. He stays behind at Crick Hollow.
Wearing Frodo's old clothes even, to keep up the pretense that Frodo's still living quietly there. That's a brave thing to do, staying behind as a decoy.
So they finally leave the Shire proper, and things get weird.
Yeah.
Fast. The old forest.
Yeah, leaving the familiar behind means stepping into the ancient, the unknown. The sources describe the old forest as actively hostile. The trees seem to shift. They get lost almost immediately.
It's not just getting lost in the woods, is it? It feels alive. Malevolent.
Exactly. It introduces this non-human, almost elemental power. The hobbits suddenly feel this overwhelming urge to sleep, even though Frodo warns them not to.
And then Old Man Willow.
This huge willow tree, old and hoary, it seems to whisper this sleepy song half-whispered. And then Merry and Pippin are actually trapped inside the tree.
That's terrifying. Frodo cries for help.
He does, desperately. It shows how dangerous the natural world can be here. It's not just orcs and riders you have to worry about.
And help arrives in the most bizarre form imaginable. Tom Bombadil.
Singing, no less. Wearing a bright blue his jacket is and his boots are yellow, just completely out of nowhere.
And he just sings the tree into releasing them.
Pretty much. Seems totally unaffected by the forest's ancient power. He's just Tom.
What an enigma.
Totally.
Yeah.
And at his house, with Goldberry, he tells these tales of the world's beginning, times when the world was wider, hints of immense age.
But the really crucial bit, the thing that makes you go, wait, what? Is the ring.
Ah, yes. The big aha moment. Frodo, testing things out, maybe, puts on the ring in Tom's house. He vanishes from Merry's sight.
But not from Tom's.
Not at all. Tom just says, hey, come Frodo there. Where be you going? Old Tom Bombadil's not as blind as that yet. Take off your golden ring.
He sees him clear as day and calls it a golden ring, not realizing its significance. Or maybe he just doesn't care.
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? The sources present it as the first time anyone is shown to be immune to the ring's power, specifically its invisibility. Tom seems completely outside its influence.
What does that imply?
Well, it suggests Tom represents something incredibly old, maybe something tied to the world itself, before Sauron, before the rings, a power that the ring simply can't touch. It hints the ring isn't all-powerful, maybe.
Fascinating. But the troubles aren't over. Next stop.
The Barrow Downs.
The dreaded Barrow Downs. Tom warns them, even gives them a song to call him if they get into trouble. But inevitably...
They get lost in the fog.
Yep, and captured by Barrowites. Ancient undead spirits.
So Frodo wakes up? Where? In a barrow, a tomb. He and his friends are dressed in white, jewels laid on them, like sacrificial victims, and there's this cold, spectral hand reaching for the ring on its chain around his neck.
Another moment of temptation to use it.
Definitely. The ultimate escape route. But he resists. He remembers Tom's song and calls out.
And Tom comes.
Just in time. Shatters the barrow, defeats the whites with his song, gets their ponies back, even finds ancient swords for them in the treasure hoard.
Those swords become important later, don't they?
Very important. And there's another detail. The sources mention they lost more than 2 days in the old forest and barrows. Time itself gets warped in these ancient places.
Right, so they finally escape the wilds and reach Gree. Civilization, sort of.
The Prancing Pony Inn. Good old Barlaman Butterbur. A bit of comfort, finally.
Until Frodo makes a spectacular mistake in the common room.
Yes. The accidental vanishing act. Trying to be inconspicuous, he somehow trips, the ring slips onto his finger, and poof. Chaos ensues. Breaking crocks, frightening customers.
Not exactly keeping a low profile.
Not even slightly. But this blunder, this very public mistake, leads directly to meeting Strider.
The mysterious ranger in the corner.
Exactly. Initially just sitting there, unnoticed by the wall. Frodo is naturally suspicious. This guy looks rough.
And Strider knows it.
He does. He admits he's been hunted, says he hoped Frodo might take to me for my own sake, but confesses his looks are against me. It's a tense meeting.
Until Gandalf's letter arrives. Or rather, Frodo remembers the rest of Gandalf's letter.
Right, the letter from Barliman. Frodo had only read the first part. There's a second postscript he hadn't seen yet.
Which reveals Strider is Aragorn.
And that Gandalf trusts him implicitly. Gandalf even wrote that he needed Frodo to trust me without proofs if I was to help you. It required a leap of faith from Frodo.
A huge leap. So Aragorn takes charge now.
Yes, and the journey immediately gets more serious, more focused. He leads them off the main road, taking this wandering course with many turns and doublings to throw off pursuit.
Which leads them to Weathertop, Amon Sul.
An ancient watchtower. And from there, they see them, black riders gathering below. The hunt is closing in again.
And it's here Aragorn tells them stories, doesn't he? Of the elder days.
He does. Tales of ancient heroes and villains. The sources specifically mention him singing the song of Beren and Luthien.
The mortal man and the elf maiden who stole a Silmaril.
Exactly. The fairest maiden that has ever been among all the children of this world who faced the first great enemy. It's not just a bedtime story, it's framing their own quest within this vast, ancient struggle against evil. It subtly elevates what they're doing.
But that moment of reflection is shattered by the attack.
A terrifying night attack on Weathertop itself. And Frodo, he gets wounded. Badly.
The Morgul knife.
Yes, not just a stab wound. The sources describe this deadly chill spreading from his shoulder. A piece of the blade breaks off inside him, working its way towards his heart, trying to turn him into a wraith.
It's a supernatural wound.
Absolutely. And Aragorn's reaction is key. He immediately uses Thillisleave's Kingsfoil.
Does it work?
It helps ease the pain, fights the chill a little, but Aragorn knows it's not a cure. The sources subtly hint, though, through the name Kingsfoil, that its true power needs the touch of a king, hinting at Aragorn's own hidden lineage. He expresses hope Frodo is made of sterner stuff than I had guessed.
So now it's a race against time, a desperate flight to Rivendell.
Truly desperate. Frodo's condition is getting worse. The sources describe his pain intensifying, his left arm becoming lifeless, feeling icy claws inside him.
They have to get off the main path again.
Yes, into pathless country. It's wet, cold, miserable. Their food is running out. Aragorn confirms Frodo's been touched by the weapons of the enemy. Rivendell is their only hope.
And just when things look bleakest, help arrives again.
Glorfindel, a mighty elf lord from Rivendell, riding a magnificent white horse, Asphalloth.
Now, Glorfindel's presence is a big deal, right, for those who know the deeper lore.
Oh, huge. The sources imply this isn't just some random elf scout. Glorfindel is ancient, incredibly powerful. He fought a Balrog in the First Age and returned from death. Sending him means Elrond in Rivendell understands the extreme gravity of the situation.
He gives his horse to Frodo.
Immediately. Recognizes the need for speed, tells Frodo to ride, and not wait for them.
Which leads to that climax at the ford of Brunnen, the river.
The final chase. Frodo, alone on Asphalloth, reaches the ford with the 9 riders right behind him.
And he turns to face them.
An incredible moment of courage. Weak as he is, he defies them. You shall have neither the ring nor me. His small sword breaks, obviously, but he stood his ground.
And then the river answers.
It does. The sources describe this roaring and a rushing. The river rises up like a plumed cavalry of waves with white flames and encampment unleashed. It sweeps the riders away.
Wow. A magical intervention.
Definitely. Elrond's power, maybe Gandalf's too. And just as Frodo is losing consciousness from the wound and the terror,
He sees something.
dimly he sees white riders upon white horses with frothing manes within the waves, and he hears Gandalf's voice. Gandalf has made it there too.
So he's safe. He made it.
He made it, barely. That's the end of Book 1, the narrow escape, the arrival, finally, in the sanctuary of Rivendell.
What an absolutely relentless journey, just in Book 1. From a birthday party to facing down ring wraiths at a magical river.
It really is intense. The stakes just escalate incredibly quickly.
So connecting back to our big question, Tolkien definitely doesn't waste time showing the danger, even within the Shire, does he?
Not at all. Book 1 masterfully sets up everything.
Yeah.
The ring's insidious power, how it starts corrupting Bilbo, tempting Frodo, the hidden ancient dangers in places like the Old Forest and the Barrows, and crucially, this theme of hobbit courage.
Yeah, they start as these very ordinary, comfort-loving folk.
Exactly. But faced with unimaginable peril, they show extraordinary loyalty, bravery, and resilience. Merry, Pippin, Sam, Fatty Bulger acting as a decoy, and Frodo himself enduring so much.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? How these massive, world-changing events can start with something so small. A little ring, an overheard chat in a garden shed.
And how quickly your whole world can turn upside down.
So here's a final thought for you, our listener, to mull over. Frodo felt completely unprepared for this, right?
Yeah.
He was thrust into facing these immense dangers almost immediately. What does his journey, just in this first part, tell you about the nature of courage? Especially the kind of courage that's found, maybe even forced upon, the most unlikely people in the most unexpected places.
Something to think about.
Indeed. Join us next time on The Deep Dive as we continue to explore the fascinating depths of the sources you've provided.